Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews, where I bring you 5 cards for the commander you've been looking for to deck building. And today we have Varina, Lich Queen. If you don't know who she is, you're probably here because you like zombies. Well, she's probably one of the original zombie commanders, especially in esper colors, that players got super excited for. She's kind of a throwback-ish. I believe she was released in Double Masters. But enough with her introduction. Let me talk about what you can do with her. She pretty much is a aggro, go wide zombie commander. And who doesn't like attacking with tokens? Nonetheless, attacking with zombies. So you'll be looking forward to building your board state, going wide with your board state, and pumping up your zombies with all types of effects. But without further ado, let me read the card itself. Varina Lich Queen is a Esper commander for 1 white, blue, and black on a 4/4 body. Legendary creature, Zombie Wizard. So she reads, whenever you attack with 1 or more zombies, okay, so we're going wide, draw that many cards. You attack with 5 zombies, you draw 5 cards. Then discard that many cards. So you attack with 5 zombies, you draw 5 cards, and you discard 5 cards. Then you gain that much life. So you gain 5 life. That is just an example. So just imagine that. You attack with 5 zombies, you draw 5 cards, then discard that many cards, you gain that much life. But what you're doing is you're milling yourself, self-milling, because you're drawing cards and you're discarding which cards you want to put in your graveyard for you to reanimate. But then you're also gaining life. So there's possibilities of life gain triggers right there. But what you're doing is you're going through your library. Self-milling is a way to go through your library and utilizing your graveyard as an extension of your library to reanimate creatures or other type of effects. Next up, tap 2 mana. Exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Since we're putting stuff in our graveyard from this card, we get to create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. What's good about this is you can do this at instant speed and on any other player's turn besides yours. So all those cards that you put in your graveyard, heck, there might be cards that you don't want to use or they're beneficial if they leave the graveyard. So just tap 2 mana, exile 2 cards from your graveyard, and put a zombie into play. But I do have other options for you if you want to make zombies. Let's talk about it. So when you have the opportunity to actually cast a zombie, I have the card for you. Necroduality for 3 and a blue. It's an enchantment. Whenever a non-token zombie you control enters, create its token that's a copy of that creature. Uh, First card I like to think of is Gravecaller. I play this card all the time in my zombie Scarab God deck. It's literally a 1 black mana zombie. So if you have Necroduality paired with it, you get 2 of them, right? Just get 2. It's easy. Do not underestimate the power of 1. I tell players that all the time in my videos, that 1 makes a difference. Next up, we got Deergraph Colossus for 2 and a black, 2/2 body, zombie giant. This is another zombie staple. So you got to add it to your deck if you're running heavy zombie tribal. Both cards require heavy zombie tribal. Anyway, back to Deergraph Colossus. It says when it ETBs with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. That's easy to do because guess what? With Varina, you self-milled yourself. So you put a bunch of zombies cards in your graveyard anyway. So it could possibly be a 5/5, 8/8, depending on your graveyard and board state. Then it says whenever you cast a zombie spell, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. Awesome. So the more zombies you play, the more zombies you can get when Deergraph is on the battlefield. Don't underestimate 2, 4, 6 zombies on the battlefield. That's quite a lot. But I have a better combination to put more zombies on the battlefield for you. You will like this. So this is one of my favorite zombie token generators. Over here from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, we have Gisa the Hellraiser for 3 and a black. It's a 4/4 human warlock. She has Ward 2, pay 2 life. That is disgusting. Your opponents can't remove her easily. Then she says skeletons and zombies you control get +1/+1 and have menace. Okay, this is the good part coming up. Whenever you commit a crime, create 2 tap 2/2 blue and black zombie rogue creature tokens. This ability triggers only once each turn. How do you commit a crime? All you have to do is target your opponents or anything they control and or cards in their graveyard is a crime. So all those Edict spells that says target player sacrifices a creature, that's a committing a crime. Or something, target player does something, that's a crime. But what I have a card for you is Spatial Binding for black and a blue. It's an enchantment. It says pay 1 life. Target permanent cannot phase out until the beginning of your next upkeep. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, so literally, if you have Gisa on the battlefield and Spatial Binding on the battlefield, I pay 1 life and I target a permanent. That permanent cannot phase out until the beginning of your next upkeep. That's okay. But what you're doing is you're targeting your opponent's stuff, right? And each turn you're doing that and you're creating two blue black zombie rogue creature tokens on the battlefield with Gisa. So in one turn cycle, not including yours, you can make 6 tokens before it comes back to your turn. And if you really started on your turn, that's 8. Wow. That's game winning. Thank me later. Hit the like button if you like that combination. I will know. Next up, I got some payoffs that you need when you are going wide with these zombies. So when you're playing with Varina, you got to deal damage. You got to do more damage in creative ways. My new favorite card is Monument to Endurance from the Aetherdrift set. For 3 mana, it's an artifact. It says whenever you discard a card, we're going to do that when we attack with Varina. Choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. You have a choice of drawing a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. Do this 2 turns in a row, that's 6 life from an opponent just from you discarding a card. And honestly, this is so abusive. You can do this on any player's turn. So if you did this on a full cycle, your turn, player A's turn, B's turn, C turn, that's a total of 12 life. Just going around the board if you have some kind of discard outlet. Moving on to Lost Monarch of Infinir. For 3 blue, for 3 and a black, 4/4 body, zombie noble. It has a flick 3. This is a very, very painful tactic. Other zombies you control have a flick 3. So what happens is whenever a zombie you control becomes blocked, that a defending player loses 3 life for each one of those zombies if it becomes blocked. This can add up. So you put your opponents in a situation where either they take the zombie damage or just lose 3 life. You choose, or they choose. It also says at the beginning of your second main phase, if a player was dealt combat damage by a zombie this turn, mill 3 cards. That's good, self-mill. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Bam! A bunch of effects on one creature for 4 mana, pretty big, 4/4 body. He has a flick 3. It gives other zombies a flick 3. What are we talking about here? This is an auto include. Moving on. So with zombies, you're going to have more ways to deal damage that your opponents will not like for you to do. So first up, we have Wayward Servant for black and a white 2/2 body zombie. It says whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You remember our token generation combo that we had with Gisa and the Spatial Binding? Yeah. That looks like it's going to be 12 life for opponents to lose and you gain 12 life. Next up, we got Deargaff Captain. For 1 blue and a black 2/2 body zombie soldier, he has Death Touch. Other zombies you control get +1/+1, so he's an anthem. Whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. All you need is a sacrifice outlet, and I mentioned that in the card coming up, which is my favorite artifact card, not of all time, but is in the top 20. So check this out. We got Eldrazi Monument for 5 mana. It's an artifact. It says creatures you control get +1/+1 and have flying and indestructible. So all those zombies that we're going to attack at our opponents have flying and indestructible and get +1/+1. So imagine those are 3/3 flyers with indestructible. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. If you can't, sacrifice Eldrazi Monument. The reason why I like this card better than Wonder is a creature card that, if it's in your graveyard, creatures you control have flying. The reason why I like this card better is because it has a sacrifice outlet in it. So at the beginning of upkeep, you have to sacrifice a creature. That's okay if we have abilities that we need our creatures to die. That's just one creature already has to go, and guess what? It's a sacrifice death trigger, and it triggers something. Probably an aristocrat strategy where if a zombie dies, it makes a target player lose 1 life. That's stuff we want to do. So I think this is a multi-valuable card. You should try adding it and you should try playing it. So check this out. These are cards that you probably have missed or they go under the radar. I'm going to start here on the left. Zul Ashur Leech Lord for 1 and a black 2/2 body, legendary creature, zombie warlock from the foundation set. It's not bad. It doesn't look that good. It has ward, pay 2 life. So that means your opponents don't want to lose 2 life just to target it. Anyway, she says tap it. You may cast target zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn. This goes well with Varina because you are self-milling and you just tap her to cast a zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn. Super easy. And ability to give redundancy to your deck building with Varina or any other zombie commander. Next up, we got a Cursed Doomyard on the right-hand side. It is a land. It taps for colorless. But if you tap 2 mana and you tap it, you can regenerate target Shade, Skeleton, Spectre, Spirit, Vampire, Wraith, or Zombie. Easy. Regeneration. Moving on to the summary. So I know players were deciding to either play with Varina or Timid from the Aetherdrift set. If you are new to Commander, Varina is not a bad commander to start off with. She is a attack-friendly, combat-focused commander with zombies going wide, and at the same time, you are self-milling, discarding card from your hand. You're doing a bunch of mechanics on one creature. That's why she became very, very popular. So without further ado, I do recommend trying her or deck building with her. If you made it to the end of the video, feel free to leave any card suggestions in the comment section to let players in the community know what they can do with this commander. Thank y'all. Peace out. I'm Commander Claw. Make sure you like and subscribe.